Years ago, when my father passed away, he left me a bunch of his books, and some of these were World War II books, and they're out of print, most of them, and I just didn't have the heart to throw them away. And finally, more than 40 years after inheriting these books, I got around to reading one of them. And I just wanted to share some of the leadership lessons that came out of that, because it's a book that you can't really get anymore. And so some of the wisdom and the quotes might be lost forever. But today, I'd like to share the ones with you that popped out to me and see if you can make the translation between, old war dog quotes and how you are running your business. So the idea here is that leadership is never abstract. It's lived out in the mud and the sweat and the fear of the front lines. And General Chase's book, called Frontline General, passes on lessons that should be relevant even today. The first one that he came up with was about rewarding soldiers. And in his words, he says, "Reward promptly, generously, and fairly all those who have done the fighting for you. Don't wait to say thank you. Do it when it matters most." Closely related to that is the second one, mutual care. And it's kind of a repeat of a very old one, and that is, you take care of your men, and your men will take care of you. It's never a one-way street, and the best leaders know you earn respect by looking out after people. He also stressed something else that you might feel is well known, but how often do we really do it? And that is being present. He said, spend lots of time and effort visiting your troops. Walking the line and being there in person builds trust that no speech can replace. On a personal anecdote, as a director of a company, I once visited the production facility in a country that was not only physically far away, but in a way culturally far away. And as I was touring, I asked the manager, I said, people are all looking at me like I'm some kind of alien. And they said, we haven't seen a company director down here in 5 years. And so you can just see the difference that this makes for people who are being paid attention to. It's a small thing on the part of a leader, but it can have really big impacts on people on the front line. The next two quotes from Chase are actually from Napoleon, and Napoleon is to have said that there are no bad regiments, only bad colonels. In other words, there are no bad departments, only bad managers, and we can all understand that. Napoleon also said that the moral to the physical is as 3 is to 1. In other words, the moral, the reason for doing something, the purpose behind it, the ethic behind it, is even more important than the actual physical capabilities of the people doing it. And so the idea of purpose and vision really comes out here very clearly. In recapturing the Philippines in 1945, Chase and his men were visited by a Catholic cardinal by the name of Spellman, and he demonstrated another leadership lesson that might have been lost forever if I hadn't gotten to read it here. And that was that he went to the front lines and said Mass under fire. So, not only did he go there, but he also said it at a time when, a lot of people would have found it dangerous. And in these times of social media, sometimes even though, you know what the right thing is to do, but you need to make sure that the social media has sort of calmed down, or people aren't really focused on you. You're trying to be careful. And I would suggest that you should just do what you know is right and stick to what you know to be the truth, even though the world might tell you that the only absolute truth is that there is no absolute truth, which is absolutely wrong. And the next one is the coconut story, which is a kind of funny one, but there is a very important leadership lesson here. Once when General Chase was visiting some wounded soldiers, he saw a man with his head bandaged and thought, oh man, maybe I should give this guy a medal. This could be a real hero. He asked him, what happened to you? And the man said, oh, General, sir, I was hit on the head by a falling coconut. Well, Chase said, I gave him my sympathy, but I didn't give him a medal. And here, we need to give medals. We need to give extra compensation, for example. We need to give extra honor to those who deserve it and not to those who just necessarily have a bandage on their head. And the final one is from General MacArthur, who was a friend of Chase's, who said one of the most important things about military, but also in business. And he said, there is no substitute for victory. If I look at all the teams I've worked with, the number one thing that makes a team come together and feel like a team and actually go out and perform better is performing well in the first place. Going out and winning in the marketplace. No substitute for it. That is the number one thing. All of the other things that we do, the training and how do we confront each other and how do we bring more belonging in the team, really important. Number one is getting your results. Well, I hope you have enjoyed these, and it's not just about military lessons. It's about leading people to do something great, or at least to do something worth doing, which I hope your business is. So reward people fairly, care for your people, be present, be moral, and never forget the mission. And that's what I got out of General William Chase's book, Frontline General, and I hope you've enjoyed that. Until next time, take care.